Everyone needs compassion, a love that's never failing. Let mercy fall on me. Everyone needs forgiveness, the kindness of the Savior, the hope of nations. Savior.
This is Chariot.
Hello, welcome to Chariot TV. My name is Derek, and today we have here, come let's do calculations. And then come on, you know, Baby Dino, etia edaso, and no, we a Bible answers. Now, Bribia, you share Bible answers, no. Unim the air waha, ye jibre, ye fa Bible, ye bisa questions, nipa dodo na etai ebisa, and ye might chi nipa bibrajin, ewo Christosumu, any osumu ankasa no, and no hon komo, and a yedi. Na ebia na wonye obi a wogidi se Nyankopon bi ewo honom wonye obi a wogidi se Bible ni mpo fi Nyankopon nchen on apologetic our Chariot TV no so ko ho a benya saa anu ye ni nyina ewo ho na we die ye discuss enniama a efa Kristosom ho ene Bible ho eti no come let's do calculations 666 as kire ne saying e den na Bible ne ka number we it was say eba ma obi anya bi ana say abadada ana senate efa obi hu ana sa say we nankasa no eno na nansen ya Elon Musk de banana you see all the chip bi ba Neuralink no ana say de bi say nipa bibre ka ensem bibre nti enne ye begebre na ebie mu ye kọ Bible mu especially the book of Revelations ayi hu san komo we say no ye di mu komo yie into aba yemo akwa aba na me kai wo se dwumedie no ahya ase enti se wunya share ma afoforo abomode ya share ma afoforo sisie ya se be ya omo so behu se dwumedie no ahya ase se wunya follow Chariot TV on Facebook ha se abomode ya na ye wunya follow on YouTube hanso abomode ya na on X abomode ya na Instagram Telegram WhatsApp channel o search Chariot TV a wo behu dwumedie no ewo honom na da bia ye call live a wonhia so be foforo ebe kai wo na wo ne yen esua ade dwumede bebre ne edi wo saa platform yi eso enti ye nche ye the preacher beba na ya share yen komo no ase come let's do calculations ye ne ye preacher Jonathan Mensah Bonsu na edi saa dwumede we akwaba
ye nwa
na apomboko de
oko na say
Nyankopon adaroma bibia ye fine we there come let's do calculations in just about 2 or 3 minutes na answer na ye share and then abeka answer na ye dey share enkomo no ase.
Well, me da was say umaya konya sa, and I think say Revelation chapter 13 verse number 18 one of the most popular passages in the entire scriptures, and not only just popular, but it's one of the most obscure passages to many people. Nipa pina no awo ehon adwenkyere bebre, nipa pina wo ho nsem kai pi. And I think it's up for us to also to pick up our Bibles and study. And me say obscured, and I say it's crowded. Nipa pina wo echinyeji ana won nsem ka bebre wo ho simply because of one mysticism. Nipa some myths surrounding some of these things, and sometimes sensationalism, and also preconceived ideas. Nipa approach Bible no with that ideas ultimately enter the Bible. So we are setting for an interesting study on Revelation 13 verse number 18. Yeah.
Yo, yeah, that's it. And yeah, go straight to it, no. Say, yeah, can 666 here from Genesis to Revelation, no. Ena yehu sa nkomo yi ena chiefly no ede na ye can say Bible no e can 666 ah.
So essentially no say I think I'm no the part 666 occurs only once in entire scripture. It occurs only in a single verse, not even once as in a chapter. It occurs in a single verse in the Bible. That is Revelation chapter 13 verse number 18. We will go there, but I don't want us to go there at the moment. But and Mijidi said we will not be the end of the discussion, because this problem has been there roughly 2,000 years. 2,000 years. I mean, it has been discussed.
As long as Christianity has been in existence.
Yet you just have to go online, look at a whole lot of issues and things that surrounds it, and read. You can read. You go on Bible Answers immediately, and it's a we throw more light and challenge will be our should be any thinking for the person to study more. Say you be introduce you nyoma what we are saying, and I say Bible no mu, and then you maybe a woman a person. Then after doing that for you, then we challenge your thinking. Say I also be to me at Nase. Now what you should translate no more who say nyoma ye can. But I must start before we go to Revelation 13, which we go there. So make sure you have to say in few occasions in the Bible, Bible writers have used quote unquote scripted message or quote.
Scripted message.
Not scripted, crypted.
Scripted. Okay.
As a secret code be, you have to break it as a puzzle or something like that. Then you have to unravel the puzzle before you can understand the message or stuff like that. And so automatic. So it is on few occasions in the Bible, we see that thing in there. Say, for instance, in the book of Daniel, chapter 5, we won't read that passage. Okay. The book of Daniel, chapter 5, verse number 25. Chapter 5 from Oceania, you realize that there was a king, the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. Now, in fact, I remember I said the grandson on the one shoe, and the host was didn't get me. Grandson simply means because the word Hebrew son in Hebrew don't have grandson. They only use son, so it might also cast son.
The son of
grandson of a son. So when I say grandson, he's the grandson actually, not the son in our context. But Belshazzar na okofre na punto for na omonum nsa omobro ne mpanafo na omonum nsa bro in the book of Daniel chapter 5. Now afi anso he went to where the king stores his treasure. Now pull it out. The book of Nebuchadnezzar Charles ne Neoma was free Jerusalem, no the Babylon. No kwa one. He brought those things Yankopon e somebody sorry nyame ana obanum na onum na wohira kobre nyame ne the god of gold, the god of silver and things like that. And in Daniel chapter 5 verse number 25, Bible say sebia there's a hand beer a say many tackle you fasten. The language was Aramaic. He understood the wording, but he didn't understand what it means to him. Many. It's what Daniel who came in with that cryptic language, came to decode it for him. That this language, this what you see here means this. This what you see here means this. This what you see here means this, and that solved the problem. But I want us to show you one of them, which maybe you have not thought about it, or maybe you have not considered much. Daniel 5:25 is common, but let me show you one. Jeremiah 25, verse number 26. So Bible, let's go there. Jeremiah 25.
We cry you crypted message. We Daniel 5. We Jeremiah 5. We cry also
Jeremiah 25.
Oh, 25. That times 5.
Yeah. That's 5 anyway.
We now why you careful. Now say false prophet be so idea we say one. The other way here one. Or say Daniel 5. Jeremiah 25. No, they are down.
They put a spin on everything. Then
25 verse
26.
26 no essay. All the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are on the face of the earth, also the king of Shezar, shall drink after them.
That is all. That's where the mape. I said you didn't even see the code that is in there because it look normal to you.
Like,
you read it.
Yes.
Yeah, and we read it and we go. You see, my interest is in the last part of the verse. He says that the king of Shek or Shishak. No, it's even pronounced Shishak. In Hebrew. Shishak in Hebrew. The word Shishak, you see, you might think that is a land. Interestingly, you check all the maps. For instance, what Bible now, or a set of maps at the back like this. You check all the maps, you won't find the country called Shishak on the
Yeah.
map. You won't find anywhere that is called Shishak on the map. Interesting, it's not there. So what's the meaning? In fact, so I don't know your version, but our version one, there might be a footnote on it.
There's an inscription down there
And we
explaining.
say,
Yes,
we
it
say-
says a code word for Babylon.
how can that be a code word? That's the question. How is that a code word? Let me read other translation for you. In fact, so we read the English, as an American, you might read it Shishaka. You might gloss over it and move on and say, well,
Yeah.
what does it mean? You just go on and talk about it. You might not even think of it, say, Babylon, unless maybe our translation, let me read NIV here for you. NIV, Jeremiah chapter 25, verse number 26, or say, and all the kings of the north, near and far, and one over the other, all the kings of the face of the earth, and the king, and tell them, the king of Shishak, he also used Shishak, and on a footnote, on also throw say cryptogram for Babylon. Well, I have another Bible here. This one is also this one is new Standard Bible version. On the text Jeremiah chapter 25, but very good. Jeremiah 25, verse number 26. 25, verse 26. This is what it also says. So it says that, and the kings of the north, far and near, one after another, and all the kingdom of the world that are on the face of the earth, and after them the kings of Babylon shall drink. This is also he used the word Babylon instead of Shishak. So the question is, how did they arrive that Shishak is a code name for Babylon, or cryptogram for Babylon? Let me show you how it is. You see, the word is Shishak. Greek in Hebrew language, Shishak is 3 letters. See that CSH,
Yes.
Hebrew don't have E, they don't have vowels. So it's a shin. In fact, that's how they pronounce it. Shin, and they put shin. The last word is kaf. Shin, kaf. That is how the Hebrew word sounds like. So it's the three Hebrew letters, alphabets. Shin, kaf. But in Hebrew, they had a way of encrypting language. So they have a language, a way of encrypting called Atbash. Atbash means that so far alphabet the alphabet no are switching the position. In Tiffany say offer the first letter, now are switching number the last letter of the alphabet. Offer the second letter, now are switching number about the first last but one letter. So what the media say? Tiffany say offer A, now are switching number Z. In for instance, the name Danso. Some person make cut Danso. Instead of saying D, instead of spelling it DANS.
NS, no.
No, D no must switching it with the last last but 4. That's W.
Okay.
W no must switching it. Now me the A no, Danso A no must switching number Z. So you might be seeing WZ, but it depends on the right Hebrew near our kind to be able to make sense that he meant Danso instead of what you're trying to spell.
Okay.
I hope you make sense of what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Good.
I have to say, those days, even now, soldiers said that so you use that type of cryptic language, as a dot, dot me and sign, a trace, dot say, a trace.
Exactly.
Okay.
But this Atbash I'm talking about is just a switching of languages, alphabets. They switch the alphabet with their position, with their corresponding position. Into the first alphabet is switched with the last alphabet. And when you look at Shishak, as I said, Shin is the last but one alphabet in the Hebrew. When you switch it with a bet. A bet is a B. Yeah. So you write it down. Maybe it's our question. So Shishak, see SH, which is Shin, is switched with a bet, which is a B.
Yeah.
Then there's another Shin, which is switched with a bet, which is a B. Then the Kaf, which is like our K, is switched with a lam, which is like an L.
Yeah.
to us. So it will be BBL. What
BL.
word is that?
That's it. BBL then come back and move for you. But
But it's
eh,
Babel.
yes, okay.
People don't
Say
have vowels.
B, say
B
BBL, Babel.
Babel, they supply it with vowels. Hebrew don't have vowels, so they supply it with vowels. So BBL is Babel. And that is why Jeremiah, the text is telling you that Shisha is a crypted language or a crypted code for Babylon.
For Babylon.
You see how they used to communicate, and that is how they have communicated. So the Bible has things like that in few passages in the Bible that have things like that. So
And
some
they're okay, no, not just say. So obi a Hebrew near ohun
yeah,
sa BBL na. And man sa code man say okay, you're referring to this particular group.
exactly. He ohunu that reading no, or kind that reading now, he will see exactly that.
I to say Hebrew near YHWH. Ohia vowels need to know say you're referring to the Almighty God.
Exactly. So when they switch the language, and well, we don't know why Jeremiah employed that language. We don't know why, but some believe that at that time, Babylon can terrorize Judah. So, and the Jew for the captivity, no, Israel for the captivity. No? So, in order to hide it from the Babylon in Eban, because he was talking about judgment, and was talking that Babylon will come and destroy. So instead of saying Babylon, then he used the cryptic language Shishak. But the point is that we don't know why. But Mechua Biajina said the Hebrew had that form of cryptography or cryptogram or
It's
Atbash, where they switch alphabet to make their
alphabet.
point out. Yes.
They may, I think that this is very similar to the symbols and the signs in the book of Ezekiel and the book of Daniel and Revelations and so.
Yeah.
Say especially how this particular language was used, you know. Obia Tinima different variations of why they were doing that, but the exact thing, no, it's left to them and how they use it. But
Yeah.
this is evidence, say symbols and signs. So when unima,
Yeah.
say we say obi a unima die we chire na so ko chire mu chia na. So unima unhu.
Yeah, you won't see it. I mean, for instance, I mean, if you are honest with it, you read the text.
After reading, I didn't see anything.
You didn't see anything. You won't see anything. You might read on. You might even not think about what is Shishak. It won't cross your mind until maybe you start reading and you want to pay attention to things. You might sit with our Bibles, read. But if you don't pay attention to things, you might not see sometimes some of these things. But I'm not saying everything in the Bible is coded. Some people make it look like everything in the Bible is coded. Everything is no. And because of that kind of message, sometimes in the Bible, no, it also fuel false teachers ploys. Send by almost so put a spin on it, that down for, and we can know from history, and we will see some of them that people have put a spin on so many things in the Bible and made meanings out of certain things which had no meaning. They didn't have that cryptic meaning, or they didn't have those kind of symbolism attached to it. But Nipa this has symbolism, no, I have attached to it, and I just want that basis as a background. Say people crypted language or coded language in the Bible is not out of place. There are few passages in the Bible that needs careful studies and careful reading to unravel what actually the text is saying. Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18 is a classic one of them. It's a classic one of them. Someone will be a unsuya and will be on the Bible will not get the context of what the passage is actually teaching. So let me give you a background of the book of Revelation. Then I think we delve into particularly Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18 proper. So the background is this. You start back chapter 1. We realize that if you start reading the book of Revelation, chapter 1, you are introduced to Ubia or friend the Son of God, and sometimes a friend who Nyameba. In fact, he called himself the Son of Man, mostly in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, with various descriptions and Nyoma or describing who said na on the woo na fe or tiasi. And he had he was working among the lampstand. And not only that, he had the 7 stars in his hand. Revelation natural, yes, the 7 stars are the angels of the churches, and the lampstands are the churches themselves. Jesus Christ no one kasa onamu. Chapter 2, chapter 3, Jesus now had a message for the churches, the 7 churches of Asia Minor, and his point is clear that so ono dia temu eba omo Jew Christopher or more Asia Minor also. At that time they were under persecution by the Roman Empire, being persecuted by Roman Empire, persecuted by their own Jewish brethren. The question is that how will Jesus judge these people when you yourself have not kept your house in order? Yes, you have to first fix your house.
Yes.
So we see in chapter 2, chapter 3 that Jesus listed a lot of issues he had with various congregations. Maybe have left their first love, some are cold, some are dead. All these things he lifted, he pointed it out to them. When we get to chapter 4, then I feel John Yamani will be in the ancient of days. You remember, John is introduced into the heavenly throne. I know who say will be already in the before him, near and 24 elders, and at chapter 4:9. These are all symbols that had meaning. We won't go there, but that is what John saw. That before John, before that throne, were these creatures, a body away, and then the beings that were when you move on to chapter 5, John said, "Your tear him on us one. The wedding nepi in some fast one. A homa boy be a watcher any moon actually. In Swano, Nson, Esisiano, Ekrano, 7 sealed scroll, Ekra, the one who sat on the throne, the one who sat on the throne, the right hand. And there was a shout in heaven that who is worthy to take up that scroll. In fact, John saw the halls of heaven. No share near Melcoso, Ubia to be muffled to come and pick up the scroll. In fact, he started weeping. Nti hɔ na mpanyimfoɔ no mu baako pinche no ka kyerɛ nso wura don't weep na the lamp of God ɔno wadi nkunim saa sɛ obetimi agye nsoano agye nhoma mbɔe no na wate ne nsoano no. And we know that in chapter 5 oguama ne gye ɔgye na soro asofodom nyinaa no abutu no sɔre no eyi na ye kamfo no hyebo ne din. And in chapter 6 we see that oguama no break 6 seals na a scroll no break which introduced God's judgment. Actually John Nyankopɔn atemu a wasiesie a ɔde ba eba be say room no so. Chapter 7 answers the question in chapter 6 verse number 17 say why na betimi agina oguama no abufuhia no. He answers the question. Revelation chapter 6 verse number 17 asks that question, why na betimi agina oguama no abufuhia no. Chapter 7 say 144,000 kofo a waso ano asie. All these are symbolism. The number 144 has a meaning, which we will talk about later. Now, Okuwanim kakra wa chapter 7, chapter 8, Banoa, chapter 8, chapter 9, Eba. Sa Obue Nswano Etoson no. And so Etoson introduced 7 trumpets. It was sounded by angels. Now, Enina announced God's judgment. They announced God's judgment. Trumpets were used to announce. So it was announcing God's judgment, announcing God. And from chapter 12, chapter 12, you see a struggle between evil and good. See, a struggle between evil and good, and a struggle between truth and error. And in that midst of that struggle, we are introduced to chapter 13. In chapter 13, the devil had 2 henchmen. Okobop a powerful munu. A powerful bay. The land beast and the sea beast. So we are first introduced. Also, as our kind for chapter 13, verse number 1, we are introduced first to what we call the sea beast. Abuabi ofri a pumupie. Ofri a pumupie. Then we are also introduced to Abuabi or free assassins, so the land beast. So 2 of the devil's henchmen. And I say, a powerful akobo a power. Or a Christopher, no mama, or moitimia bayabun sama pedie. That is where the introduction comes in. And now we get to our text, Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18. Let's just say a baking kind.
Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18. There okay in I'll say, here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666.
So there have been several approaches to the text. But before I met on approaches and nipa pia take it to the text. No match all the GDA na make say and say, you see, man has been fascinated by this text. Think, for instance, Revelation is the book that is the 66th book of the Bible.
Yeah.
Watch this one. So it already has the Revelation has 66. Fine. The verse 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. 18 can be broken down to 6 plus 6 plus 6.
Yes.
So people are fascinated about what is this 6 plus 6? 6, 6, 6, 6. What is it? People are fascinated about it. Not only that, Roman numerals. But match them the next slide. Let me show you something. You see, Roman numerals have if you go to school, you say I. Fine. I is 1 in Roman numeral, but I is just a duplicate of the 1. So let's take I. The next Roman numeral is distinct, V.
V, yes.
Yeah, that is 5. The next one is X, which is 10. The next one is L, which is 50. The next one is C, which is 100. The next one is D, which is 500. Sum them up using your calculator. No? You can get 666.
Okay.
Like that. Oh, Nana, unquintable. The 500 plus 100, yeah, 600. Plus 50, 550. Plus 10, 500.
My year, 666.
666.
Hey, I didn't. I clear.
Exact. Yes, exact. You see, so
my nyanas are not cheap. How on went to my calculation into my right.
So you see, humans have been fascinated by the book of Revelation chapter. And now you're so fascinated. There have been people have sat down doing all this kind of arithmetic and in your mouth can say. I mean, people have been fascinated with that verse. What does it mean? For years. Yeah. Go back. Go back. There have been a lot of views. Principally, there are two main views, or two main approaches. And Nipa approach the text. What 666 actually means. Two main. I'll start with the first one, then I'll give you examples. The first one is Hebrew phono, and that's not even Hebrew, not common to Hebrew. It's common in the Roman world, the Greek world, and the Hebrew world. We call it Gematria. Gematria, and it says, you see, in Hebrew language, Hebrew Kasemun, for instance, the Hebrews don't have numbers like we have numbers. You see, we in our modern day, we have numbers 1, 2, 3, echo, and your alphabet A, B, C. In fact, they don't even mix. I remember people make noise on radio, say, oh, we bought telephone number, no, can say 0244. People start making noise. In fact, the attorney say, I checked the dictionary sometime. I don't know whether they have changed it. It's correct anyway. So someone says
024.
They used to make noise about it there, and you're correct. In British English, O can be used for a specific number, a unique number, like your code, your password, and things like that. They normally put. That's why they say 1909. It's correct aloud, but people made noise about it. That Radio 4 made noise about it simply because but numbers, and you said well, fine. But my point is that we in our era, your numbers, we have alphabets. Hebrews didn't have that. What they had was that they used the alphabet they had to also represent numbers. Send the Roman numerals, you see the event and things had numerical value. That is what, and we call that Gematria. So what they use is that if I want to write your name, you see, if I want to tell you a number, let's say I want to say 1,000, I'll use alphabets to tell you 1,000. I'll use alphabet to tell you 1,000. So some people think that what John is saying that we should calculate in the text is that we should go and use Gematria. Let's go there and try and calculate out of it who that person is. And that has generated a lot of views and a lot of controversies and history that surrounds the
I don't
party.
know. I think it's contributed. They contributed to silence here because in those days, no, ebia obi pese, ebia obi can obi ho asem a otumi ma no special to say the o can code be say we na nipa we na make no ho asem but nipa no ebia ade sa phrase we na say code we na gina ho ma nipa we. Nti
Yeah.
ebia obi adwin mu na na ta na John so ka wa.
Yes. And you see, it's loose. It's loose also in the sense that if I give you, let's say, I give you an alphabet, the alphabet, numerical, it can stand for anybody. It can stand for a lot of things.
Yeah.
It opens the door for a lot of people whose names can be spelled like that. You see, like, let me say, like your name, Danso. Maybe you rearrange Danso, alphabetical, you rearrange it. It might spell someone's name.
Very true.
You see the point? The moment you start rearranging the letters of your name, it might spell someone's name. So it's using that to open doors for a lot of people to come up with wild ideas. And let me show you a bit of history around it. The most popular one, I must say, the most popular view using this Gematria is a man called Nero Caesar. You know, Nero is a Roman emperor who lived roughly within AD 48, thereof AD 48 coming down to even AD 50s to I think 58 or so. He lived within time another emperor. He is the common person in history. So we use Gematria now or spelling it. And the reason why people believe that it is Nero that is being spoken about are two things. One, well, Nero can be spelled with the 666. But another thing is that this Revelation text I can, Revelation chapter 16, 13, verse number 18. You see, in your passage, it said that the number is 666. Maybe then say 600, 3 scores and 6. Interestingly, manuscript that they search for one manuscript, one old manuscript didn't have 666. It had 616. So you can search online 666. You can say 66. You open Google, you say 666 or 616. A whole list of documents will come up. A whole list of issues that will come up because in one manuscript, particularly, it's an old manuscript. It had 616 instead of 666, and both 616 and 666 interestingly spelled Nero's name. That is why people believe that Nero is the premier or the one that John was actually talking about. And let me show you how they come about it. Konim kakramame on the slide. You have a fair day. Konim, just go for it now. You see, when you have Nero, Caesar, when you translate that in Hebrew is Neron Kaiser, sort of like that. But you see, the problem with that is that in the Hebrew don't have N at the end. The N at the end is supplied by because it does not supply it won't add up. So they supply the N at the end.
Emma makes sense.
Yes. So when you supply the N at the end, it would be like NRWN. N in Hebrew is Nesh. That is 50. The value in the matrix on 50. R is Resh, 20. The 200. Sorry. The W is like an O, which is pronounced. The sound is pu, wa, which is 6. And the Nesh, I say, come again, 50. The K sound is like your K that we know is 10. And S is the 60 plus another 200. You sum that up, it is 666, like that.
Wait, just to give a little perspective, I had to say old phones, phones way below. Who's numbers now? Number 2. Wait, A, B, C. And when Brian was senior high school, so we be that calculator. So offer calculator crampa na calculator was our features no.
Yes, yes.
So Sunday, who say you were me what SHS now.
Okay, so you are canocre. Adam Sebana be a people be here. What they do, people do normally as students. They say, you see, yeah, question has been solved. In the ABC, then we use numbers to do that.
Numbers to represent all of them.
All of them. Yes, then we input that on our calculator and take it inside. Teachers for who and the only say, who write examination or no matter calculator. My format is answer no room. My format is answer no room. My format is next
Obi got Nasia or two no
yeah, and people made the whole. So that is the idea.
Yes, and so people understand that that is possible. So I'm just bringing that example to show that. And yes, so strange.
Yes, and it's a good example. Anna Odiabano. And it's true that is what people believe, that Nero is the one that is in view here in Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18 here, because his name spelled Nero Caesar. And in fact, so drop it and I want the last ending one. You see, 50 minus 666, 666 is 616,
which is 616.
616 down between. So if you drop the n at the end, it still spells back to the idea. So as I said, the most prominent candidate, Nipa Pina GD say, so Nero Caesar, the one John is in view here. He was talking about that person, that personality, is prominent among all Bible scholars, Bible. In fact, in the Brotherhood publications, I've seen Brotherhood publications they strongly believe that Nero Caesar is the one that John had in mind when he was writing the book of Revelation like that. I was watching the documentary by National Geographic History or something like that. Morgan Freeman, I think, why a video or documentary on God or something, religion, and he spoke about one of his sections, or called Vatican, Library, and they spoke about Revelation chapter 13 verse number 18. And the person on the scholar on the believe that John meant Nero Caesar, and he was using the same argument and tried to spell that Nero Caesar is the one. So the first candidate which people have popped out is Nero Caesar. Let me show you other candidates. The second one is Latinus. Latinus is the Latin man. In other words, some people believe that it is the Roman Empire. You see, the Roman Empire, Latin, the Latin world, kind of Vatican Latin world people. So they don't have, those people who believe this don't have a single person in mind, but they believe that it's the Roman Empire,
Latin. Okay,
the Latin world. And this is how they come by it. You see, Gametriano works with a lot of languages. It works with Greek, it works with Roman numeral, it works with Hebrew. It's not only Hebrew and it works with all these languages. This one, they use the Greek language. Let me show you something. You see, Latinos, L in Greek. In Roman numeral, L is 50. But in Greek is 30. A is the alphabet A. First alphabet A. Yes, alpha. Tau in Greek is 300. Epsilon is 1. The I is 10. The N is 50. The Omicron is 70. And the sigma is 200. When you sum that up, it gives you back your 666. This is also another viewer. Some people have been teaching, and some people hold and say that might be what John was actually looking at when he said that. Let me go to another one. Some people believe that it's Roman Catholicism. They believe that it's the popes. Before you go, let me show how they do that. Who do you think will push that the Roman Catholics are the 666?
Sabbatarians.
Exactly. I know that you get it.
Sabbatarians.
They were the forefront of trying to show that. You see, and the reason why they were forefront of trying to show that is that they have always been preaching that a Roman for necessary embrano.
Yes, exercise. Yeah, Christopher from the course Sunday. Hey,
yeah, and in their publication, in fact, Enra, before I took the pains of trying to read something online. I came across a site. The site is Letter to Laodicea or something like that. A site that is the site name, Letter to Laodicea. Possibly you all check that. And it's an Adventist nipa ne SDA I don't know whether it's 7-day Adventist, but or Adventist SDA type of religion kind of. And the way the person spins around this issue is amazing. I read some wild things there, and I'll show you some of them. But they believe that it's Roman Catholicism. I mean, the popes that has been at the 666. So that is what they believe, that the 666 John had in view was that he was talking about the Roman Catholics or the Roman Catholic Church. They are the ones that are changing. They go back to Daniel and try and prove out that Daniel said that obviously Samrani and Nani and the Roman for say almost a free memory
that will bring out Roman records, Catholic records to say that they changed.
Yes. So let's look at how they formed this Catholic thing out of it. First thing is that they came out, you see, they said, well, I've not seen it before, but it is argued that on the popes, they have some sort of titles, Vicarius Filii, Vicar, the Son of God, sort of Vicar, the Son of God. So it believed that Vicarius Filii, which is the titles for the vicars or the popes, you might want to call them like that. They when you take that word in Roman numeral, V is 5, I is 1, C is 100, A is not in Roman numeral, so it's 0. R is not in Roman numeral, it's 0. I is 1. U is similar to V. You see how they look at it. U is similar to V. So U is look at V.
Then S an argument from somebody team say, okay, if A is not in the alphabet, 0 is, this is another argument in mathematics. Is 0 a number or not? Mm-hmm. It's a big argument in mathematics. Is infinity a number or not? So if 0 is nothing, that's another argument. Is 0 nothing or something? Yeah. So if say A and yeah,
so that is why they supply it with 0. So they say that she knew. So they supply it. That's why I put 0 there. So they believe that let's drop that. A doesn't have a bearing in. R doesn't have a bearing in. Yes, so F is not in Roman numeral. We drop it. I is 1, L is 50, then I 1, and D is 500. E is not in Roman numeral. We drop it. I. So when you sum that up, it's 666. And they teach that. They teach that and say that, well, that is the Roman it represents Roman Catholic popes, and that's the whole system of Roman Catholic Church is the 666. I mentioned another way they calculate that. You see, they say that they argue this way. On in Mount Sinai, he gave the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
And they argue, and it's true, that all the commandments had a numerical value in the sense of the first commandment was 1, the second commandment was 2, the third commandment was like that. So they say that it's Roman Catholic Church simply because Roman Catholic Church now almost. So this is how they say it. They say pick 1 to 10. You see, the 10 commandments were 1 to 10. Yes. So pick 1 to 10. Any set of numbers, 3 set of numbers. Like 1, 2, 3. I'll pick 1, 2, 3 there. I want to say 1, 2, 3. No, you can do a permutation. Permutation means that the order is important. So wait, in some way. You can open 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Elective mass.
Yeah, you can do arrangement. You can do arrangement. A 3 factorial. It will be a 3 factorial. 3 factorial is.
Now, what shall I say? We don't want to careful. Boys need to video nation. It's me actually more as I want to ask. 3 factorial now can. I don't know. I don't know. Obi uncle a you KNST. Obi uncle Lego.
Let me mean, family anoche level. You see, anoche one family.
Or video, or delete video.
How it look like is this. You see, let's take 1, 2, 3. Me share 1, 2, 3 no. I can arrange it 1, 2, 3. That is one arrangement. I can arrange it 1, 3, 2. That's another arrangement. I can arrange it 2, 1, 3. That's another one. 3, 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. So there were 6 ways of arranging 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Those numbers are arranging now. So add the upper. It is 1332, 1332.
Yeah.
Numbers are arranging 1, 2, 3, right? When you find an average of that, it's 1 plus 2, which is 3, plus 3, which is 6, divided by the number of numbers, which is 3. You divide, find the average is 2.
Yeah.
Not to say 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, divided by 3 digits, which is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So the average of that is 2. If you divide the sum 1332 by 2, it is 666.
So okay, then this opens up a room for so many questions. Say, why are we adding 1, 2, 3 and not multiplying or subtracting?
So the issue is that see, Calix and Abba messy up Nyakopomra. They change this day, they change this day, they change this day, they change this day, and they use this argument trying to taint and paint the Catholic Church that they are the ones responsible and they are the CCCs and they are the one John was talking about. And those who are following them buy into it. And another example is what I've shown there. 4, 5, 6. Do 4, 5, 6. It's the same thing. 4, 5, 6. Who arrange 4, 5, 6 are? It will give you 6 combinations. 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5, 5, 4, 6, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4, and 4, 6, 4, 5. Like that. 6 combinations. You add them up, it will give you 3330. 3,330. That's 5, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. If you add them, 4 plus 5 is 9. Plus 5 plus 6 is 15. There are 3 digits. Divided by 3 is 5. Divide 3330 by 5. You get 666. So their point is that you take it 3 digits out of 1 to 10 now when you say you always get 666, which signify the 10 commandments and Kalik MSN app, and in that case Kalik is the 666 in view. That is someone's how some people approach the gematria. It opened doors for wild speculations.
Yes,
where people
very wild
a lot of things with what it can be done. You see, Calix responded here. You see, Rome say Calix responded. This is how Calix responded. Calix responded. I think I've forgotten the Calix theologian. Also, yes, he responded. He responded by saying that Ellen G. White is the 666. Look at the next one. This is Ellen G. White, the full name. And you see,
White.
Yes. And you see, Roman numeral don't have E, so they drop all the E's. It doesn't have the G. You drop all the G's. It doesn't have O. You drop
the same
all
way the V represent U, V, the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. And when you come up, you use Ellen G. White's name, it becomes 6666. So Kalik was saying that, well, then it's Ellen G. White who was the one.
But the argument, no, on an argument level, the argument is sound. So if you can do just like any calculation at all to mean it is referring to the Pope, then when we also do any calculation, it can also refer to
yes.
Right.
So most you see, Adventists like things like this. They like numbers. They like things like this. They go to their Sabbath school,
especially
and
the Book of Daniel.
Yes, and they don't know that there are things like this there. Omoyen can't say there are things like this there. The omode here omode spell obi no. Yen can't so say the year the spell omudi
the same.
You don't tell them. So Kalik also responded with that Ellen G. White is also the 666. Kalik gave another response that Martin Luther, the famous German theologian, or is credited with the origin of Protestantism. And also Kalik say, well, I think this one they use the Latin form. You see, Martin Luther in Latin is Martin Lutera. Then they use that combination and spelled his name. And interestingly,
So you Martin Luther no kwa emfa nti o se epe kwan bi ebe weke.
yes, they converted his name to Latin, Martin Lutera.
Yeah, when English name fine, we call Latin.
Yeah, and when they did that in Latin, then they applied the Roman numeral. It worked. It worked. Interesting. Say, they how they
we are me bia ma no chidin ha hwe akwa no be say nti me
Yeah.
bia na ho say.
Yeah, there's a host of site omudiano no. Almost an party, they said they are doing things like they're trying to do calculations. So that is another, and there's a last view, I think, using the gambit. There are a lot of them, which is interesting. Hitler. You see, there are people, particularly in the Protestant world, those who believe in premillennialism, who have been teaching that Jesus Christ will come and establish his literal throne in Jerusalem. Now, in Jerusalem, no, he ruled from the whole world through Jerusalem for 1,000-year period, literally, and do all those things. They believe that Hitler is the 666, and this is how they spell it. This is how they do it. They say, well, let's rearrange the alphabet, the English alphabet. This one they use English, so it's easier to do it. Let's rearrange the English alphabet, starting A from 100. So starting A from 100, you see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. H will be the eighth, the eighth alphabet, right? So 100, 101, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 107. So H is 107th alphabet, like that. Do you get my point? Then I will be 108. L will be 1111. T will be 111, 119. E will be 104, and R will be 117, like that. And it can spell, it sum up perfectly to Hitler's name, and it's spelled. So my point is that, you see, people have spent so much time with the gematria. Best spell you be, because they had it at the back of their mind that John meant that we are supposed to use gematria to decode decode the name of, just go back to decode the name of the person, John Ekanwasem. You can take the slide off. I think we can end here, but I just want to point out, say, you see, that is one way of approaching the 666, as in Revelation chapter 13 verse number 18. But I believe it's a false way of doing. Though as I said, Nero Caesar, or Nero, is the prominent one. Most scholars believe that the name 666 points to. But Mejidi said John never intended for us to be using gematria, and I believe our next discussion, we talk about that. But we also add a bit of the reason why people like using the gematria is simply because they believe that the 666 is a number for the Antichrist. So we point out that, then we tie that in. Your understanding on Revelation chapter 13, verse number 18, will be concrete. Yeah.
So now, putting all together before we end this session, say, and yet all the predictions are man fire now. Then who exactly are we? Is it a who or a what or a then? Because okay, say it's a number of a man.
Yeah. Okay. So the point is that I with all the evidence in the book of, when you stick with the passage, the said John didn't have a single person in view. He didn't have a single person in view. They are cues in a text that shows us that. One of them, let me be quick to say that. One of them is that the word man in the text is anthropos, which is generic. And there is no article attached to the anthropos. And in the book of Revelation in particular, and in most Bible passages, when the word anthropos comes without an article, it meant generic. It doesn't have a single individual in view. That is why you won't see that it is the number of the man. You won't see that. A man now, who in English translation, the A is supplanted by the translators. There's no article attached to the anthropos. And we will look at some indicators in there, which will point to us where we are talking about. But I think the Bible, now you have the Bible, you might be able to arrive at the conclusion. It's a bit technical, and if you don't like math class, like my old friend,
Bedding.
Shadrach, like
Aye.
math class, make a win, and this way Bruno. I say, yeah, that and but
Aye.
it's
We
it's
are
also
permutation and I'll say Asemaba.
yes, yes, it's also another thing for us. You see, as preachers, the preaching work is not a playing ground, not a job for the lazy man. It
Yeah.
involves a lot of studies. Say, ɔsɛpaka ni nya bere nsua deɛ na onye obi a watena kyerɛ nsɛm ho adɔ so kwa, he might not see some of these things that are coming and be able to answer accordingly to this. I think say it's worth
And
saying that.
that is why Bible answers are so important and necessary. Say, as we do this and we encourage people to sit and search the scriptures. You mentioned some few things. I believe if we highlight them, it's important. You mentioned, say, from brotherhood papers, who so far, no, it
Yeah,
indicates and shows, say, and I was just thinking about it, say, how many of our members in Ghana and in Africa and they are aware of, even in Europe, and they are aware of the brotherhood papers are available. And for me, it's a big concern because there have been so many publications in the church. Abua Pass now, many people are not aware, are dealing with some of these things. And yesterday, now me go through some of the sites now, and I realized most of the issues are I better to say some and marriage, divorce,
yeah,
books of which books belong in the New Testament. Say
no, they are old issues.
all these issues are enuanuma nyabura aka ho atwerɛ ho books atwerɛ ho ate ayi ano da afei ɛna yɛ te
Yeah,
sɛ Ghana ha no asɛ asɛm asɛ ɛna ebi mu bi sɛ it's been solved.
is an old issue. Well, all these
So
things are old issues.
I
Just
honestly would encourage say if anyone ebetimi anya time after some of these publications now. And when I saw it, who's that? Ukra bizarre and say, why am I responsible? No or fight.
yeah.
Publications, brother publications. Nana ya SND me bi. Enti the other send me me call and makwa who a particular website that has all of them. Enti my creative Word document with all the links. Aha. The old year now we fan by part of us sending them fan.
Well, that is why Google is there. Are you aware?
No, it's not easy. You see, this is the problem. It's not easy getting. I said there into the need any buy. Once I got to that site, I checked the Muslim website. No, you see some of them reference. Then I followed Namaka Konya Bear about 10 or so. And I'm there card on. It is all no the enemy
You keep searching, but it will be fruitful.
and you're not of when you're not just all the baby into there and yes, but if you want it, if maybe you're watching and you're interested in it, I think you can. Where is it? Yes, on the website, I have placed a link there to the Word document. When you go to resources, you will see all the brother publications. Not there, you can check on them and have access to them. All right. Answer na last word. Now, you find them common.
Well, my final word is that obi biara otie yen no. Omo na nimbre Nyankopon asem. If you say bonsam nai nani na ba mu muda unu no ho all the oye ho. And as long as truth lie down quietly on steady on a depends no. I throw the depends. And Bonsam is having people who are really learning his error and trying to propagate it. So you go to maybe SDA Sabbath school and things like that. They are busy learning the book of Daniel and things like that.
Yes.
As we spend time with what is baptism, of course, it's important. We need to learn that, but we need to go deeper because they are learning the book of Daniel. Until share now or quote Daniel passage, maybe you have not even come up with a problem. Until young more than entire Bible, and Charity TV is offering us opportunity. That Charity TV has now beat me so afa kwenyan so esua Nyankopon asem. But that's it.
Nyankopon ehia pa se and the ultimate J brand now ne ehia ye. Within edit Derek down so na dwumedi a ene yedi no Bible answers. The topic was come let's do calculations. So we meet again next week. God richly bless you. Yakro bibia.